Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We got 4 games to recap, and it's the last time we'll ever recap 4 games in 2020. Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, it is. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us. 3 of the divisional series have been wrapped up. 1 remains. We're going to discuss how that happened today. My name's Jimmy. Jake's sitting next to me. Trev out in California joins us as always because he's a host on the show. He's not really joining us. He's always here. And BBD is behind the dish, coming to you live from the Roosevelt Studios in the Bronx. RSVLTS. 4 games, guys. 3 series have been wrapped up. 1 continues tonight. How's everyone doing? Jake.
I'm good. Baseball's still hot in the streets. A poopy football game that Trevor's probably going to talk about for hours on end. But baseball stays hot. 3 teams eliminated yesterday. Goodbye the Fish, goodbye the A's, goodbye the Fathers, which lead into the penultimate of Game 5s tonight, which we'll talk about on the Talkin' Baseball pregame show coming up after this. But yeah, man, some good action yesterday. None of the games were really great. Like, you didn't have to go to the water cooler and scream at someone about it, but a lot of good baseball. Trevor, off the menu, Plouffe.
What is, like, gather around the water cooler mean? Is that like a real water cooler? Like, I get it. You're at work, you talk to your coworkers, but like literally at a water cooler?
Yeah, so there was a water cooler right across from my desk at my office in Denver, and it literally became like if people wanted to stop working, they'd grab water and they'd come talk to me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, my water cooler at the job I had before this was just the fridge. You know, you do the water from the fridge. But if I talked to someone, it was while I was filling up my water. Otherwise, I was in my office, never talking.
All right. I mean, I thought it was just kind of a figure of speech.
No, I understand why you think that, but it truly is.
And maybe it's a
real.
figure of speech
It's real.
now. Who knows what the new world has to offer?
Whoa.
Do offices exist? Do we exist?
Well, I have a time machine. You knew that.
Right.
We could just go check. The water cooler is still going to be around in 50 years. I'd assume yes, because water's
going to stay. I'm in on water.
I would guess the amount of words you said to your coworkers in one day was the amount of words I said to my coworkers in a month.
Right. I mean, it's also a very different environment. You guys are like video editing, and I'm with a bunch of people that want to kill themselves. So, yeah.
Well, I had one in my own office, which was nice.
Right.
But I was just go in, work, leave. All right.
okay.
The games.
Yeah.
Cron Pod. 8 minutes on the clock, Trev. Trev, do you have anything else to say besides your water cooler ask before we dive in?
No, I'm doing great. Excited about tonight. I watched the games yesterday, and
Huge.
we'll get into them. I got some thoughts on them.
Yeah.
We can start. Yeah, Cron Pot. We're starting with the Braves and the Fish, the bottom feeders.
Trev, here's something that only patrons will understand because we referenced it on the post-game show yesterday. I believe my piñata auction starts today. They gave me a warning, so I'll give you a heads up.
I need it.
Speaking of patrons, today's episode of Talkin' Baseball is brought to you by Quentin Cochran, and I wonder how Quentin Hubner feels knowing there's 2 Quentins in the Patreon now.
Turf.
I don't know if that's an open arms, Quentin, I'm Quentin as well, or...
I think it is.
It depends what fan Quentin Cochran is.
San Quentin.
Edwin Saez, Stephen Benjamin Eisen, Douglas Titmus, related to Scott, because we got a Scott Titmus that's always with us, Brian Ordonez, and Oscar Vargas. Those are our most recent patron supporters. Thank you very much. They get to join the live chat with us, a little pregame talk, a little postgame talk, and live with us. They help us out a ton. All right, Cron Pot it is. The first game of the day, as always, was Braves-Marlins. The Braves win this game easily. 7-0. They score 4 runs in the third inning, and then 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. They blank the Marlins for only 5 hits the entire way. Kyle Wright, absolutely shoved. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. So that's 4 good starts in a row for that kid. And then their bullpen, they didn't even really have to get that dirty because they were winning by a lot. They used Shane Green, I think, at the end just because they didn't use him a couple yesterday. But the Braves kind of roll through, win this easily. Sixto Sanchez gets himself in a lot of trouble. He got himself in bases loaded, no-out jam in the second inning and got out of it, and then got himself into more trouble, didn't get out of it later on. I don't know. Easy. First playoff series the Marlins have lost in their history. Trev, did you watch this game? You got any thoughts for us here?
I did, and yes, the final line of Kyle Wright was excellent. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, but it wasn't smooth sailing for him. He was battling throughout, and I believe in the third inning, maybe. I mean, they had guys ready to go, guys in the pen, but he got out of that inning, and then the Braves gave it some cushion. And I think once that happened, they're like, hey, let's see if we can ride him out. Let's save our pen, see how much length we can get out of him. And he ended up doing it. 6 innings, like I said. If you listen to the pod yesterday, I said this is going to be a start we remember for Kyle Wright. Don't know if it was technically that because it wasn't super dominant, but the final line is, and yeah, the Braves offense showed up. The bottom feeders are going to go back to Miami. And I don't know what do you do in Miami in October? The Columbus Day Regatta. You go out on the water in your boat, but they're done. They're not playing baseball.
No.
They went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, left 8 on base.
The start of this game was who's going to bend and break. Are the Marlins going to kind of make this a series and push a couple across? The Braves loaded them up in the second. Sixto gets out of it, and then the Marlins they put 2 on in the first. They couldn't score there. And then they loaded the bases themselves in bottom third, and they couldn't get anything across. So in those first couple innings, you've got a lot of ducks on the pond, and you can't get anything across. And then once the Braves push across 4, they make it 5 after Freddie Freeman RBIs. And then Kyle Wright did settle in, which give him credit for that. It's more important for him than the Braves actually resting their bullpen because they get a few days between going to the championship series. And Braves fans get to feel all right about Kyle Wright going into his next start. The conversation, I think we all know in the coming days, is going to be, have the Braves played anybody that matters? They played the Reds, whose offense looked straight anemic, and then they've played the Marlins, who are fun story, and they're exciting, and they play ball the right way, but you look at this roster top down, especially next to the Braves, and it's like these teams were in a different league. So,
well, there's only one team that seems to matter in the NL, though, and that's kind of the whole thing. But the Braves will go there. Good call.
We're gonna find out.
Good call about the end. Norm Shaver, our patron, our Braves analytics department, helps us out. Kyle Wright retired 12 of the last 13 batters, and it comes. You said they got people up for the third, Trev. It really helped him out. That the Braves put up a 4 spot in the top of the third because he opened bottom third, hit by pitch, single, so 2 on, no outs. And I think if the score is tied, you're probably making a transition there because that's his 3rd inning in a row where I believe he had a runner on early. In the first inning, the Marlins had 2 on, so the Marlins couldn't convert, but Kyle Wright did end innings without damage, and then he went on to settle in and look good. So
huge at bat against Aguilar in the third there. 2-2 count, pair of foul balls, and then he punches him on a nice curveball, and that
good pitches.
That did seem like the Marlins' chance to either punch back or get back in this game. And yeah, you never doubt a Vandy man. From one to another, good for him. So.
I'll say this: with Dansby hitting like he's hitting so far. He had 2 hits again. He had a double. This Braves lineup's much deeper than I think anyone would guess it is on paper because Dansby's hitting for power. He's got extra base hits. He's got home runs. Darno looks amazing. Yeah. So you got Acuna, you got Freeman, you got Ozuna, you got Darno, you got Albies, you got Swanson. The top 6 there look really good. Duvall's been struggling. He did get a hit and an RBI in this game. I don't know what it was, but he's been struggling the postseason so far. But that top 6 is deeper, and, Braves fans might be like, duh. But for outsider opinion, like, I don't think of Darno as a masher or Dansby as a masher, and those two guys getting involved really makes that lineup deeper. So we'll see what happens with it.
What do we think about the Fish? Like, what's the end of the season for them? What kind of grade do we give them going forward? Are we on the Fish for next year?
Oh, yeah.
It's just the pitching staff is there. We know that. Or at least it's shown to be there.
They're kind of doing it reverse style. I feel like a lot of teams, they figure out the hitting and then the pitchers find their way. They're they're going to have a pretty nice pitching staff next year, and it's going to be how guys like Jazz Chisholm can make the leap, can Magneuris Sierra, your guy. And interested to see, I think Aguilar, I believe this was his last year. I forget. They got him in that waiver trade. So, what can your guy Jeets put around them? If you're a Marlins fan, I mean, you got the pitching. Let's see what else you can get around it. What other young guys are on the way? I don't know.
Very impressive because every team played the same season. I do wonder, when we go back to 162, if the Nats and the Phillies are like, guys, we were, better in a long series. You guys got
this
hot.
Lineup.
You rode a nice wave. Our swell didn't come yet, but it was on its way.
It's kind of how I'm feeling about them. Like, yes, they won some series. They took the Cubs out. The pitching did show up. Sixto, Alcantara, and who's the other guy? Who am I missing?
Lopez.
Pablo. They look legit, but the offense, I mean, if you just kind of look up and down the line and be like, okay, well, like you said, Jim, over 162, is that offense really going to hold up? They were below average OPS plus. Even their pitching was below average. Everything about the Marlins is below average except for the record. So typically that doesn't hold up.
Aguilar's got 2 years of arbitration.
You got to give credit to him.
And they,
Aguilar has 2 years of arbitration. He's not a free agent until 2023.
It's a good bat for them to have. Nelson Cruz, diet Nelson Cruz.
And tying it to this season, I mean, if there was another week of the season and the Marlins went 2-4, they might not make the playoffs. So I don't know. I think there's not going to be a ton of Marlins excitement last year. They're going to have to prove a lot of people wrong again, and they need more bats, man. They need more twigs.
Everyone played the same season, and the Marlins had a really good season, though.
They had a nice 2020.
Yeah.
You need to change their uniforms again. Whatever they did, just reverse that. They're so bad. That's my main takeaway from the whole season.
I don't like them, but I feel like I'm not the demo that would like them. Like, they're in Miami. I'm not a Miami guy. So if the Miami populace loves that uniform, so be it.
I think they do, man.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't like them.
Freddie and Albies didn't even have really good series.
Chat? Do you guys does the chat like the unis?
Yeah, or Duvall. They all had like one hit each.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Duvall, he's batting 7th. He kind of comes and goes. I mean, Freddie, the Braves offense went off this series, and Freddie Freeman hits 2 for 4 in this game. He finishes with a 167 batting average, so maybe that can spark him against the Dodgers. That lineup's good. It's I'm hoping the Braves can bring those boomsticks and win early innings and get to that bullpen against the Dodgers. That would make it fun.
Yeah. All right. Game number 2 on the day, Oakland Athletics versus the Houston Astros. The Astros win by 5 runs. Oakland had a quick lead. They go up 3-0. Astros put a 5 spot up in the 4th to go 5-3. A's snap back a little bit with 1 run to make it 5-4, and the Astros say no. Make it 7-4, then they make it 9-4, then they make it 11-4, and they just pound on the A's. Not good. Montes gave up 5 earned runs. Then they go to Wendelken. He gives up 2 earned runs, and then they go to, Minor and Trevino split an inning or however that worked out, and then Soria and Diekman give up 2 earned runs each. I know you guys are saying it's closer than the box score makes it look, 11-6. I truly don't think it was. It was 1 early home run, and then the Astros just had their way with Oakland like they did this entire series.
It was it seemed like a mismatch, and I think the concerns we had with Oakland going into the series kind of showed up. We said, "Hey, we don't know about their starters, have a deep bullpen, but how much can you rely on that 5 days in a row?" Bassett gave him a pretty good start, but even he got touched up a little bit. It just seemed like second time, third time through the order, the Astros have just been going off. Middle of the game, like we see here, it's just 5 runs, 2, 2, 2, crooked numbers everywhere. And basically, I mean, like we talked about this before the show. Carlos Correa has carried that team. I mean, other guys have hit, but he's been the constant force, the guy that, the heel, the asshole, like, but he's bringing the energy, and you can't deny it when you're watching him play. You're like, holy shit, like he was by far the best player on the field yesterday. It wasn't even close. And it's been that way the entire series. Love him or hate him, he's playing good baseball right now.
5 RBIs from Correa yesterday. He's been a monster. The 2 through 6 hitters for Houston yesterday, everyone got on base at least 3 times. Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Tucker, Correa. That's not a good recipe if you're an Oakland fan. Simeon boots that ball in game 1. That game should have been a lot closer. Simeon hit one to the track when everything seemingly has been going out in this series, and it dies. It would have made it a 2-run game. But yeah, man, I mean, Houston's rolling right now. Greinke doesn't look great. There's the whole, he showed him a curveball. He's doing his pitch sequencing. But after all of Greinke's antics this year, a lot of people were jumping on that. And in the moment, it was like, oh my God, Greinke. But yeah, I mean, Oakland's pitching couldn't do enough. Houston finishes with an 11 spot. And I don't care how much the ball's flying out of the stadium. You can't do that. And a couple things, I think, Jimmy, you say this sometimes, and I think people don't know how to take it, but sometimes in sports, things can happen. You can do something good that can set you back later in the series. And I think Chris Davis getting off to a good start this series, he ended up coming back to kind of the Chris Davis he's been. He goes 0 for 4 with 4 Ks in this game in the cleanup spot. He kind of got sparked. They were hoping he got sparked, and it kind of didn't happen. But, man, they go up 3-0. Laser show. Laureano, the guy that does it off of yesterday's win, and then they just start missing pitches, and you can't do that. Brantley with a 2-homer game. We don't talk about that guy enough. He was one of their best hitters through the year, hits third. I mean, and he's just a dude of dudes. So good for Houston. It's going to be exciting to see who they get locked up with, man.
I'm trying to do a quick count right now.
Quick count.
Because Dusty, who always has a plan, said that the Astros, they don't want to hit home runs. They want to hit home runs after walks. And they got a home run after a walk yesterday. And I just counted quickly. I think 4 of their home runs are with 2-run shots. And they have 2 solos, and they were both back-to-back, like leading off the inning. If they get a walk, look out for that home run swing right behind them.
Look out. Yeah,
I think versus the Twins, they did the same thing, right? Brantley walked, and then Tucker in game 1. Remember, we called that, I thought. Tucker walked and Correa homered.
Feels oddly long ago, and that was, their pitching was kind of the standout when I think back to that series. But
I forget.
Yeah,
anyway.
They didn't homer in the 4-1 game 1.
The A's didn't show me a lot for all the hype their bullpen got. I mean, what did their bullpen do?
Just Hendricks. He was the only one that showed up.
He got pumped.
Dusty was on the broadcast, and I hate when they interview during the game, but they do it. So you listen to it, and he was talking about he thinks the sliders and the curveballs are looking like they do at Coors Field. He was saying they were just hanging. And if you watch the games, whether it was the pitchers just hanging them, whether it was the balls or the air, which I don't believe it was, I think it was the balls, they were hanging and they were getting banged. Like every home run, that I saw, there was probably, how many were there yesterday? Like 6 homers yesterday. I think they were almost all were on off-speed pitches, and they were just hanging there. Like, if you don't hit those pitches out, you're upset.
Where's the ALCS being played? San Diego or LA?
I believe San Diego.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's touching on that point, and you wonder what discussions go on mid-games between pitching coaches, managers, whoever. Christian Javier comes in. He pitches 2.1, ends up giving up 0 earned runs, which in the way this series was going with all the long balls and everything, and he was pumping heaters. And you wonder how a player like that, if you have a good fastball, when off-speed just isn't working, whether it's the balls, the stadium, mentally, who knows. And then a guy can give that kind of performance that's very impactful.
Yeah, I made this point on my Twitter. I'm like, it's not the atmosphere or the weather or the climate. Like, the Dodgers have been in the playoffs every year for the last 10 years. Like, if something's different, we're seeing these balls flying in the park, it's the freaking balls. And talk to Meredith. She'll tell you about them. I'm sure she'll be scooping them up, dissecting them, and coming on our show this offseason to tell us. But it sure seemed like the ball was traveling further in L.A. than we've seen it in a long time, because we're seeing Oppo 3/4 up the bleachers. It just doesn't happen.
Yep. I mean, their bullpen really, their starting pitching wasn't good. Their bullpen wasn't good. The A's pitching was bad all 4 games. The overs hit every single game. Liam Hendricks was the only reliever that didn't give up an earned run or a run with Mike Minor. Maybe use him more. A veteran dude who looked good. I don't know.
That was interesting, yeah.
But everyone else, Weems, Wendell, Trevino, Soria, Petit, Diekman, they all got knocked around.
And those Houston guys pretty good too.
Yeah, gotta
they
give them
look
credit.
good.
Yeah. And who pitched in this game for them? Granke started.
Blake Taylor.
He didn't look
Christian
good, and
Javier,
then they're that reliever.
Paredes looked good.
Yeah, Anoli might be a problem. He might be their dude.
He's their guy. He's clearly jumped up to be their dude behind Presley. Yeah, man. Interested to see again it's questions that I so want to talk about, but we're so blinded by Yankees world that, what is Houston going to look like in a 7-game set? And then it matters if they're playing the Yankees or the Rays, which is the next game.
Wow. But before we get to that, I got to tell you a little bit about DraftKings Sportsbook. Week 4 of football is in the books. Now it's time to review the tape and get ready for Week 5. There's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. To add to the excitement of Week 5, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now, because you don't want to miss this. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to receive a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. On top of that great sign-up offer, DraftKings offers great odds and boosts every Sunday to help you make it rain with a G. Don't worry if football isn't for you. DraftKings is giving all you basketball fans a 200% profit boost on any basketball market once you sign up. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Jomboy when you sign up and get up to $1,000. That's code Jomboy to get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires $25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm Jesse Schofield. Yankees-Rays, Game 3. Elimination game for the Yanks. Their first of the playoffs. And they don't have Cole. This is their best arm, but they do have a loaded bullpen. Tampa. They have the opener, Yarbrough, pitches 5 innings. And then Sledgers, they don't waste any of their good arms because they're down. Yankees needed that early lead to make it the situation. Early lead was crucial to the Yankees winning here and not making the Rays use those dominant arms they have out of the pen. Voit opens it up with a home run, leadoff home run in the bottom of the 2nd inning. We were surprised they kept Thompson in for 2. He goes on to walk the next 3 batters, scared of the strike zone. The Yankees cannot really do much damage there. It remains a close game for a while. Jordan Montgomery goes for the Yanks. They let him go 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run. It was dicey. It wasn't beautiful, but it's a really good result from Monty. I disagreed with allowing him to do some of the things they allowed him to do and the strategy they employed, but it worked, so I'm happy about it. Then the Yankees go to their three horsemen. Chad Green pitches 2 really nice innings. Zach Britton looks great for 1.2, and Chapman looks really good for 1.1. They hold the Rays to only, how many hits do the Rays have?
3.
3 hits for the Rays, 1 run, 11 strikeouts for the Yankees pitchers. Rays bats went a little dead, and then the Yankees get a bomb home run from Glaber late to give them a little cushion. Went up to the triple deck of the balcony of the warehouse there after a single from Gardner, 2-run shot. Yanks win this one. Rays seemed a little content to not use any of the pitchers they want to depend on in Game 5, so we're set up for a doozy here tonight.
Yeah, man. It is interesting that it kept all the guys, all their horses, as they call them, in the stable. But I want to talk about this game, but all I can think about is, yes, the matchup that we have coming today. I'll try to recap this game, I guess.
Well, Trev, were you surprised at all about Montgomery facing Arozarena twice, or the fact that they finally blanked Arozarena? He went 0 for 4. They completely changed the strategy of how they're attacking him. Did you notice that or see that at all? I think the broadcast mentioned it a little.
They were talking about they were attacking him lower in the zone rather than higher in the zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it'll be opposite today. I think Garrett Cole's going to go right back to the top of the zone with that heater.
Ugh, that's scary to me.
He did it to him the last time he pitched.
Yeah.
And Arozarena clipped him.
Yeah, he got him.
He also struck him out, though, on that same pitch in a really crucial part of that first game, didn't he? Am I mistaken that?
I don't know.
I think he went like 98
bad
up,
times
98
stick
up.
out better than the good times.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Monty, he surprised me. I mean, he goes 4 innings. I didn't think he'd go that long. The Rays, look, they got a hit. If they didn't hit yesterday, I'm kind of worried about them today, to be honest with you.
3 hits from the Rays. We just talked about a bunch of elimination games. Sixto Sanchez, he was a story of this year, huge prospect. Goodbye. You're eliminated. Frankie Montas, you got all the arm talent in the world. You were special last year. You've been mad this year. Oakland, eliminated. Jordan Montgomery gets the pill. And, hey, I think there's been chess being played. The Yankees played a terrible chess game Tuesday by overthinking their pitching. The Rays have a couple guys that mash lefties. Brasso, who comes in for the pinch hit later against Britton, they didn't give him the start. Joey Wendell has been playing really well, and Brandon Lau has not. Lau is hitless this series. He is one of their guys, though, so there's a little bit of chicken where I think, in a normal Rays game, I think they would have sat Lau, started Brasso, and say, hey, you're going to start Jordan Montgomery, here's Yandy, here's Brasso, and here's Arozarena. Have fun, kid. They don't do that. Monty bends and doesn't break. He also looks pretty good. He's throwing a good curveball, pumping heaters. Good for him. 4 innings, 1 earned run. Yanks go to their good pen, who have looked really good. The story is going to be how much do they have in the tank for tomorrow. And the Rays did have Fairbanks up at one point in this game to get him going. I think they sat him down. It was either after the Glaber homer or a little earlier. But the Yanks got ahead, which was huge in this game. Voit with the homer, Torres with the homer. And, Brett Gardner, a couple big at-bats. He gets 2 hits. LeMahieu, he doesn't even jump out in your head. He has another 2-hit game. Judge is the storyline a little bit for the Yankees coming into tonight's game. But, you're so right, Trev. There's more to talk about in this game, I'm sure, but it's almost like who cares? We're at the end. Here comes Glasnow and Cole. Let's do it.
I got a question for you guys.
Show me your dick.
You always say 3 guys at the back of the pen. Is Chad Green one of those guys?
Yeah.
Big time.
Britton and Chapman, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Green hasn't been. He was good in 2017.
Chad Green's really good.
2019, 2020, he's been okay.
Make
Well,
me get
When I watch him pitch,
stats.
I'm not I don't see him dominating when I watch him pitch.
Well, then you haven't watched him pitch a lot. In 2019, his arm slot was different coming out of spring training, and he was bad. They sent him down to the minor leagues to fix him. And when he came back from that, he was... So, like, the overall stats don't look great. After that, he had a 2.3 ERA, 53 innings pitched with 81 strikeouts. 2017, Chad Green is about as elite of a year reliever could have, and he was going multiple innings then. 2018, Chad Green, they messed with him a little bit.
Good.
His numbers are good, but they didn't know how they wanted to use him. He didn't have a plan, but he's really good. He's really good.
Strikeouts per 9 are there. Obviously, he can strike guys out. When I watch him, I'm not like, dude, this guy's going to dominate this inning.
He hits his spots like I've never seen a reliever since Mariano hit the spot he wants to hit. And he just goes top corner, bottom corner, just dot.
He's got it's an elite fastball, movement wise. Like he didn't really have a second pitch for a little while. His knuckle, I think it's technically a knuckle curve. It's evolved into a plus pitch itself. But I mean, there was times when he could just go fastballs all day and he could get you. So he's evolved a little bit. He had a couple tough moments, but still,
it's a spin efficiency. Like it's got a little jackrabbit in it.
With us adding loopholes, and he did get sent down after a horrible start in 2019.
But it was an easy fix.
Over the past 4 years, he has a 2.9 ERA and a 12.3 K per 9.
I want to keep going on this, but I'll save it for the pregame
Sure.
because we could talk about this all day. Another thing I wanted to ask about this game, I'm trying to remember. I just totally slipped my mind. Oh, Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a problem.
They don't need him because they still have plenty of bats. But my goodness, if he shows up, it's going to be really tough for the Rays.
Yep.
Like that's one thing they got to continue to do is hold. If they want to win today, you got to hold.
Trev,
Mr.
just
Judge
getting
now
on
again.
base change your psyche, even if it's So what I'm banking on is Judges look so bad. After every at bat, he has to turn and go straight to the dugout. His last 2 at bats yesterday, 4-pitch walk. He didn't do much to deserve that, but he gets to go to first base. And then his last at bat is an error by the third baseman who replaced Joey Wendell. Gets to go to first base. I'm genuinely asking, does that help a batter at all? Change his psyche? Like, hey, at least I'm here, one step closer to getting hit. No,
It's you'd rather as a hitter
barrel one out.
walk is whatever. No, not even barrel one and get out.
Okay,
That actually makes you worse. You get pissed off even more because you're like, damn, that was my chance.
Wasted one.
If you get a crappy hit, if you bloop one in, infield single, that's what'll change your run. That's why I always defend bunting. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't bunt in certain situations, but like when you're struggling, lay one down, get on base, get that hit, see the one in the hit column for you, and it's just like that whole thing where it just relaxes you.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's
So
the next step.
he needs that.
Bloop hit in the first at bat.
If he gets a blue hit in his first at bat, watch out.
Okay.
Final notes.
I mean, look,
I have
they
one
need
final
to-
note after Jake's final note.
I've got 2 half final notes. Jordan Montgomery, first batter got on, double play ball, Voit steps on first, fire to second. One of those plays that feels like it changes a
Momentum.
course of events going throughout the game. That was huge. And just on the Rays side of things, we're talking about them not using their horses. It was because Ryan Yarbrough, a friend of the pod, did do a nice job. And, if this was Talkin Rays, we'd be saying like, hey, he saved all of our good guys for tomorrow. We didn't have to burn any of them. And holy smokes, the 2 of the 3 that did have hits yesterday, G-Man Choi, who's going to be a big-time storyline tonight, and Kevin goddamn Kiermaier. Can't stop, won't stop. I get down, baby.
0-2, right in the middle. Fuck. I want to point out a nice human moment that happened in the game yesterday. Arozarena.
When you choked me on the live feed with my chain.
I
That was
saw
good.
That
That was good.
kind of sexy.
No, Arozarena, young kid
Yeah.
from Cuba, steps into the box against Aroldis Chapman, also from Cuba. He was 15 when Chapman made his debut, and that was when there was not a lot of Cuban players in the MLB. There's some, maybe like one. It's like kind of like Japanese players are now, like a handful. Now there's a ton of Cuban players because it's been easier. I'm guessing he, when he was a teenager, Watched a lot of Chapman. Loved him. Hated him. Definitely knows who he is. That's like an idol in Cuban baseball.
It's a dude.
Dude. And he steps in, and you could see a slight smile. And when Chapman blew that fastball by Randy, you could see him look and smile and kind of have a moment like, that was fucking cool or wild. So that's probably a cool moment for that kid, Arozarena.
I mean, I don't know how cool. I mean, it was a cool moment until he struck out.
It would have been cooler.
Yeah, I mean, would have been cool to get hit. But even
though.
stepping in the box, that's like, probably a dude he watches a teenager.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's you getting to podcast with
But
me.
he's had that before. I mean, he's faced him before, I'm sure. Don't you think?
I don't know. No, I don't think so, because they called up Arozarena late because the Rays have the
late August, so September didn't face him at all.
and they didn't play. And the Rays are, they have that luxury of keeping the Cuban Mookie Betts down at their offside affiliate
Never
for fun.
face each other.
That was the first time they ever faced each other.
Chapman only pitched like 11 innings in the regular season.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, Chapman didn't pitch a lot. Yep. All right, moving on.
Gary Sanchez cleanup.
Game 4.
He should have been. Get it fucking right for the rest of the playoffs.
Higgy's the catcher.
Currently out for the rest of the playoffs.
Higgy's the catcher now. We're just done with Gary Sanchez. We'll talk about this.
We'll
later.
talk about it a later time.
Dodgers finish off the Padres. They win 12-3. Roberts got criticized a little bit for his plan with Dusty. Dusty was the opener. I get he did pitch in game 1 after Buehler, so maybe that was the plan the whole time. He goes 1 inning pitched, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Then they bring in Kolarek, who's like. Now, we were watching the Yankees game while this happened, but what is this? Well, he brought in Kolarek to face Max Muncy because he's a lefty. Walked him.
Moreland.
Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong. He brought him in to face Hosmer? What's happening? Hosmer, Pham. I don't know. I guess I don't know Adam Kolarek anymore. He was like a lefty specialist last postseason.
They tried to get cute with it, and if you try to get cute with it and it doesn't blow up, everyone gets pissed, especially when Dustin May's looking like he's been looking. This was the first move. The Padres get another early lead in this series. Everyone wants to kill Dave Roberts, and I get it. I've killed Dave Roberts a lot. But you know what? The move after that, the Kolarek thing is weird. They intentionally walked Myers, and then Kolarek walks in a run, which is a pretty bad look. But the story of this game that kind of gets overlooked because people love crapping on Dave Roberts, Urias, who is the real guy that followed Dustin May, goes 5 innings, 1 hit, 6 Ks. Again, just this plethora of talent. Like Urias on any other team would be like your young pitcher that you tell everybody about. You'd be like, yo, you got to see this dude. He's another bonus piece for these Dodgers. He dropped stick. Padres used 11 pitchers in this game. Dodgers put up a 12 spot without hitting a homer. So they're disgusting.
I saw this game referred to as a surgical performance by the Dodgers. That's exactly what it was. It was just they're efficient in every way possible, man. They just do it to you. I mean, look at just 1, 5, 1, 1. Oh, okay, you can blank us for the 3 innings. Okay, let's put up a 4 spot. Will Smith with 5 hits in the game. Your damn catcher getting 5 hits. And it is Urias. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
But yes, I agree with you. On any other team, he's starting for you game 2, most likely, 1 or 2. But yeah, he's in their bullpen now because they have the starting pitching depth and they can use him like in games like this where they gives the Dodgers length. I mean, the Padres, we talked about this earlier or last pregame show or recap, whatever. It was just unfortunate they had no Lamet, no Clev. Because after Clev came out, Lamet wasn't there, you really realized that they had no chance. And ended up getting swept by the Dodgers. None of the games were particularly close. Am I forgetting one that was close?
Last night was that great game that ended close. Belly robs Tatis. That was a good game.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah, that was a good game. You're right.
Speaking of Belly, they intentionally walked him, and then your dude Pollock was like, okay, fine, I'll just get the RBI. They used 11 pitchers. Here's this from the Dodgers' perspective or Padres' perspective. Good year, competitive year, excited year. Build the fan base, build the foundation for the future. You lost your number 1. You lost your number 2. the house of cards Jake referred to that you were trying to stack as you're pitching every single day. Like, God bless Jace Tingler's heart.
I mean, look at this.
And the decision makers who had to do that. They threw 9 yesterday. They threw 11 today, something like that. I mean, not a formula for winning postseason baseball. If they have Dinelson, if they have, or no, it was 9 in game 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in game 2. You only had a pitcher get you to the 5th inning once. So
that was Zach Davies.
Not much to be like too brutally upset about, I don't think, if you're a Padres fan, because you lost your 1 and 2 going into the postseason. Clev wasn't a rental. He's back.
Yeah.
Lamette's
They need to
back.
figure Paddock out. Get him back to what he was. I mean, because you need look, if you have him and then those 2 guys, nice starting 3 right there for you to go along with that beautiful offense that you have.
And nobody, the true San Diego Padres diehards don't want to hear it because they're in love with their lineup. They love this team. They don't want to talk about next year, but that's where you're at. And hey, Zach Davies is a really good regular season pitcher. Like, look at his stats this year. He did crazy good. Morahone, who started this game for them, he's what, 21? Like, he's going to be around for a little bit.
They're not losing anyone. I just looked.
They are going to be around, and they kind of do have a good excuse. You lost your 1 and 2 pitchers. Any team that lost their 1 and 2 pitchers would lose a playoff series.
Does this mean they're a free agent after 2021 season, right?
Well, it's the 2020 season, so I think they're a free agent this year. You should find Moreland because he's a free agent, right? Anyways, they're set up. It sucks. 11 pitchers. Morahone, Stammen, Patino, Hill, Altavilla, Strom, Adams, Pagan, Pomeranz, Richards, Rosenthal.
So Richards, Castro, Rosenthal, Yates, Profar, those guys are all gone.
So
and Moreland's got an option that they're not going to pick up.
And by the way, this team's strength is its hitting with, a couple of those stud pitchers when they are healthy. And I still think the Dodgers have a better lineup.
Dodgers are a juggernaut.
This Dodgers team is monstrous.
There's no weakness for the Dodgers.
They might be the only team that could survive if you took Buehler and Kershaw off. But guess what? They're fine, and they'll be there going into the next
Tony
round.
Johnston,
Yeah.
Urias, yeah.
It would just be a young stud pitching staff instead of those guys. So,
it will be interesting. The Dodgers have some slight questions. What's Kenley going to do in a close game? That hasn't really been, or is it Kenley, or are they completely abandoning what's Dustin May's job in a 7-game series? Is he now just a starter? You would think so. Or is Urias, how you say it, Trev?
Urias,
is he a starter? Probably don't give Kolarek seven batters anymore for Kolarek because he's a 3. No. Like, he averages 3 batters all season, so can't leave him to die, but they did because they don't care that much.
They didn't care.
They didn't care about the series. It was easy for them.
Yeah, they're going to go depending on how. Well, I guess they can line it up whatever way they want now. That's going to be Walker, Kershaw, Dustin May will be their 3 guys.
Can I give claps for someone?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to give claps for Drew Pomeranz.
Okay. Drew Pom, my guy.
I mean, what a change in career.
Yeah.
The Brewers put him
in the bag from
I mean, he should go send the Brewers a thank you card.
Yeah.
Say, like, hey, thanks for thinking of me as a reliever.
Thanks,
that was cool. Where's his stats in here? Trying to find it. I think Pomeranz pitched like 5 games. I just had it up. And scoreless.
Yeah, this one wasn't as impressive. He goes 0.1 innings, a hit, and 2 walks, but he's...
In this game?
As a reliever, he's been like a dominant force.
I was just talking the whole postseason.
Yeah.
The whole postseason, he went 4 innings pitched, 0 earned runs in 5 games. Used a lot. Good job.
He's a dude out of the bullpen after becoming he became like a joke in Boston. They didn't use him in that Evaldi game. Good for him. Final thing over here, a lot of these playoff games come down to runners in scoring position. Did you go 1 for 8 or did you go 3 for 8? Dodgers with runners in scoring position last night, 8 for 24. 24 at-bats with runners in scoring position. What?
That's
Part
crazy.
of me thinks we're just going to be looking back at the season being like, was there anybody particularly even close to the Dodgers?
I'll say only teaser I've got for Dodgers Braves, because we will have an episode talking baseball. Check it out. Braves love their bullpen. Dodgers don't. So if the Braves can get some early game action, that series can become fun.
You need to get Kelly and Jansen involved, and then Dodgers fans squirm.
You know who I'm
Which
terrified
is so funny
of?
because that means they're winning late.
Yeah.
The Braves' secret weapon is the mansplaining girls on Twitter. They are terrifying me.
Yeah.
Because I'm scared to say anything negative about the Braves. They
Don't do it.
Keep
come
doing
at
it.
you and rip your heart out on Twitter.
Yeah. Good. Shout out, Mansplaining
Watch
Baseball
out.
Elsewhere. Braves Pod on the network. They're feisty.
What was it?
They're
Will
funny.
Smith, first catcher ever with 5 hits, BBD?
First catcher ever
Yeah.
with a 5-hit postseason game, and I think only the 9th person with a 5-hit postseason.
Also, Will Smith versus Will Smith.
Yep.
Yeah, big.
Will Smith, the pitcher in the book.
Odds that Will Smith, the actor,
100%.
gets involved with that. Like if they are,
Oh, yeah.
if they're hitting each other, like he does a picture of him watching, and then post it on his Instagram.
100%.
Do that again.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let me tell the listeners out there, don't ever take a picture like this.
Okay. Why?
Do that. Just don't do it.
Because if you're going to throw up one peace sign, you throw up 2.
Oh my, the double bird.
Oh, cross them. I love that.
Jake and I like the number one pose a lot.
Yeah.
We're big fans of
Yo,
just
that is your pose.
That's
number one. We do that a lot.
People just wonder, why are you doing that? Who's number 1?
People have the weirdest poses. Like whenever the California Strong guys do a video, they all just stand like this.
Yeah. Like security?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Security stance.
Security stance.
Fucking be regular. Just be a person.
Be regular.
Nah.
I think we can stand behind that.
All right. Hey, that's the episode. We're going to go to the pregame show. There's only one game.
Ooh.
It's a preview.
We're to deep dive it.
Yeah. If anyone's interested in our stats, go to the pregame show because I don't have them up right now.
We'll see you there.
We're all still doing well, over 500. I like that. Goodbye. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye, chat. Thanks, Patreons.
Bye, Chad.
Jake sucks.
Now coming to the stage, singing My Chemical Romance.
I love that. Is that a band or a song?